Hey everyone, Corrie Thorne coming in to do the She Is podcast once again. I recorded one of these last week and it felt like it was just like a pity freaking party, so it didn't get downloaded. So last week we didn't have one of these podcasts coming in. Today felt like the day to start over. Let's try this again. So, my name's Corrie Thorne. I am the spiritual emotional consultant, the healer, teacher, and everything in between in psychic medium and woo woo, plus being a everyday goddess and everyday woman who truly is more than existing. And more than existing, keeping it real was the original name of my podcast. And it is my more than existing is my trademark, and that is the trademark of all of my work. But somehow I just discovered somebody is using my trademark. So, uh, got to figure that out here. But hey, we're here, and she is her own creation, is a truth. Trademark or not, name or not, label or not, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that we show up. What matters is that we start to be present in our own lives. What matters is that we start to be able to know that we matter and our voice matters, and who we are at the core is where our truth really lays. Up until we start to really discover us, we are letting the parts of us speak out loud that are not always the healthiest, the wisest, it may we may have a lot of knowledge, but wisdom is pretty deep inside of us. And getting to that wisdom sometimes is a lot of work. I have been in this industry for well over 20 years now. And well, actually, I've been in the industry for 30 years of helping helping other people heal, work, finding their beauty outside, inside, like the whole kit and caboodle. I spent 30 years as a hairstylist, an esthetician, owning a salon, teaching in the colleges, and I spent a lot of time really being observant and observing who we are and what we are, and observing um, how much of our lives we've created out of the stories that we tell ourselves. So I have my own share of stories, but we don't even know we're doing that until we start to realize that, is this really me? And for me, it was I say I had years of the premenopausal stories. And so I could hear myself speak one day and I'm like, who is she? What is she doing? And why is she trying to drive everybody away? Why is she so argumentative? And I talk to myself that way as if I was a different person from me. Kind of can be some days, but really truly discovering who and what I was supporting and what cause I was supporting. And realizing how much I'd become a rebel to the cause of my own bullshit, my own angers, my own frustrations, that everybody seemed to become a reflection of what I was angriest at. And the first thing that I start to notice was that I think I was ignoring things. And I got to reel it back here. Because as I hear myself in my headphones and I hear myself talking, I'm like, whose fucking voice is that? Here comes the happy go lucky voice. Here comes that phone voice. Um, and that's when I know that I'm trying too hard. I want to bring this back. I want to reel this back. And the simplest of this is my name's Corey. I spent a lifetime supporting every bit of my voice that was supporting the unhealthiest parts of who I am today, or the unhealthiest parts of who I was. And who I am today is a product, just like all of you, of being raised by other humans who look like adults, who sometimes act like adults, but also have their not true self doing the job, doing the work, playing the roles. of the things that should be the most precious parts of their lives. And so this is a hard one. This is a hard one, but this is a truth. As I come into who I am today, and as I found my way back into being Corey, and she is her own creation, was that I realized that a lot of my life, even though it sounded really happy go lucky, was so angry, was so sad, and so frustrated. I could not understand how come those that were supposed to be adults just couldn't listen, couldn't hear what I was trying to tell them. In the mirror and through their eyes, I looked like a little girl. But the channel, the mystic, the prophetess, the wise one that lived within me, that lives within this shell, is ancient, and the wisdom runs deep. And because of unintentional neglect in a family where just existing was huge, I found myself spending a lot of time with the wise ones, a lot of time with the council, a lot of time even with elders within my community, within like my grandparents or my great grandfather. So I spent a lot of time sitting and listening, observing, and listening to this adult conversation from elders, older ones, wise ones. And then the other adults that weren't so old and who were parenting, I thought they were old. I would hear some of the things that would come out of their mouths, and I'd be like, "What? That's wrong. That's not right." And the older I got, the more frustrated I got. And the more I witnessed of what I knew to be loving, caring, compassionate was so blended in manipulation, unintentional, unintentional manipulation, unintentional uh, emotional abuse of words. So many things that were just wrong. But hey, you could laugh it off. Children didn't matter, whatever it was, or told that's all in your head. That's not really happening. But it was happening and it was real. And it's only now as I look back and as I've created more than existing and all those things, and the more I teach level one, the more that I unravel about myself, because it is called self actualization and it's all about succeeding at being us. Um, that I looked at areas in my life where I felt so unsupported. And at first, I used to tell myself, this is all in your head. This is all because you had the poor me, the victim story for so long. And that's not your truth. And so I kept trying to heal around the fact that that really wasn't true. But a lot of it was true. And I remember the things that were so important to me in life that I thought was important, that others around me didn't see the value, didn't see the, like going to college, very strong on going to college, but supporting me to get there, not so much. And I mean in the ways of I would watch other parents go in, spend a lot of time searching things out, making sure you had furniture and food and I remember getting out of the vehicle on a rainy night in St. John's. And I just remember it was the first time I even seen a dumpster because I was from a small town, like a big dumpster outside an apartment building. And my friends had already moved in, and we had brought my stuff in a few weeks earlier. But when we pulled up, all was said was, "Here you are, you're home, get out, good ridden, goodbye." And I know it wasn't that they were trying not to be supportive, but what I needed was to be supported. For some reason, I needed my mommy to hold my hand, to walk me in, Even though I knew those friends forever, I just needed something more. But I didn't ask. It was pouring down rain, and I remember I was holding a lamp as I stood outside to close the door, and they drove away. And I had a bag and a lamp, and I was left in a big city. Instantly, I became the old wise soul in that apartment. I became who I was everywhere else in my life, a support. And I had support and love with the girls that I lived with, and the one boy eventually that moved in with us. And and then I became the support for everyone else. And I remember going through some really hard things in my life, and because of that sense of emotional kind of neglect, I would try to find my mom everywhere. No cell phones back in the day. And I would call her at the curling club. I would call her in all of these areas, just trying to find her. Just as she's like, oh my God. Oh my God. I would chase her down. But I needed her. And I need her more than she knew I needed her. And because I was so strong and so old and so wise in my ways, she would always tell the same story. But you're strong. You don't need me. That's why I can be like this with you, because you don't need me. But I did need her. I needed support. I needed that something. And so the more and more that I went without that, oh my God, it's so funny. Our family protecting yours, fire department outside of my house. Oh, that's hilarious. Their support just pulled up outside my door. That's funny. Um, you just can't make this shit up. And so as I so what I really started to do was I started to neglect myself. And I remember this point, this time when I knew with all of my heart that the person I was seeing at the time was messing around on me, was cheating. And I wasn't very old. I was only 18 now, mind you. I was very ancient old, but and he was way older than me. He was like almost 5 years, 4.5 years older than me. And I remember getting this burning sensation and not knowing anything. And I was so ashamed and so afraid to go talk to anybody or to get anything done. So I suffered in silence and in pain for so long because every time I'd call, she in a rush, she didn't have time. I was bugging again. She didn't realize, she didn't know. And so I wasn't supporting me because I didn't understand, or I didn't have that healthy relationship of support, not in the ways that I needed it as a girl. It took me years to understand why we didn't have it, why there was that gap, and that it was as she got older and as I got older, we started to notice, started to find out more threads in this story of her not having what she needed. But it's still, to this day, understanding support was it that it took me to a place of really looking at how much I have neglected myself, how much I've put myself on the back burner, how much I have not done for myself, how much I find myself bargaining off or in places, in situations where I have opportunities to hang out or to be around people who know their worth and their value. And I will sabotage it. I often would sabotage it and give up that opportunity and chase the underachieving, and I would then encourage those who were not, had no desire, didn't have support. I would then become a mother and I would support people who were not believing in themselves at all. And I would encourage them and get them all built up and hype them all up. And then I would just move on to the next place where I would be needed And I don't mean in my work, I mean in my personal relationships. And I just found that to be always happening. And it's only over the past few days that I have that real strong memory of the times when I needed it. I never asked because I was told always that's just who you are. You are strong, you are old, you're confident, you're old, you're growing up, you're so mature, you're so this, you're so that. And I believed it to be true because my wisdom, my connection to the channel within, to my soul self was very strong. But my human physical self, my physical human mind, my heart, my poor little vagina, my everything was still, my little ovaries and uterus was still a youth. It was still a young woman. At 18, I was still a teenager. At 21, I was just becoming a woman. By the time I was 21, I was well moved on into my second, third relationship, and not so healthy. But really playing out my unsupported life, and so alone, so alone. And as I now am at this point in my life, I'm at this weird point in life. And I'm telling you this so that this may make sense for you. I just turned 50 in April. And at 50 years old, I am starting to really, and after all the other work that I've done, I'm starting to not look at myself as a victim or a pity party or anything like that. Taking ownership and responsibility for my life, to up the standards, to start to give myself the gold stamp, the approval, to really be what I need to be, is that I've had to discover support. And even when people try to support me, I reject it. I have a coldness inside of me that is so afraid of so many things, like being among people who are achieving. I and I'm confident. It's that weird energy. It's like I'm not running on empty. I am not confident. I am not any of those things. This is how the shadow self works. It don't mean that you are always away from you, that you know who you are. You know all of those things. It is when an experience shows up where it needs to be supported by the healthy brained adult who needs to be present in the room to listen to the details, to understand things, to comprehend things. And when that happens, oh, shut down, run away, avoid. And that's where the over kind of being over self, that dependency comes in. I don't need anybody. If I go into this place, that's going to be wrong and it's not going to work and blah blah blah. And so I'm always waiting for the disappointment. I'm waiting for the sadness. I'm waiting for the frustration. But in the meantime, it's caused me to lose it on happiness. It's caused me to lose it on contracts and deals and opportunities to work with people, to be with people. And where do I end up? Alone, still achieving, still working, but spending a lot of time alone, or spending a lot of time not with my peers, which means people who have done the same work as me, who are in the same, doing the same thing out there. We're at the same level work wise, and I'm not there. And I'm never not there because often I am over supporting. I am over supporting, pleasing, the enabling, the fears and insecurities, and not even knowing it. Yeah, it's life. It is real freaking life. And at 50 years old, I'm just realizing, not just finally coming to terms with how much. how much of that part of my life has been supported because it holds something. It holds me still being taking full responsibility, taking all ownership, and kind of setting other people free. It's so funny what we do. And today and every day now, I put in a lot of effort to put my focus into what support means to me. And in my class last night with my level ones, I spoke some words that I wanted to write down because they really matter. And I said, and it was love and safe it's the same energy. Love and safe feels the same. It's the same energy. And so to be love also to feel in the essence of no love is to know safe and what safe feels like. When you start to look at your life and you start to become conscious and aware, you can't stifle it back, you can't stuff it back in a box. You can't stifle it no more. You can't, it's like it's just this tidal wave of change and shifting and energy that starts to happen. And you start to look deeper. And my second book is called Beyond the Reflection. And it's the life beyond my existence, the life beyond illusions, the half-hearted truths. It's life, it's the life of the me, and not the me spinning backwards, not the me spiraling, but the me that is in the present moment. And that's the you that's in the present moment that really truly has to level up, smarten up, and really truly take a good hard look at who do you want to see in your future? What do you want to see in your future? So for me, I had to start really looking closer at this. And this was what I wrote. The life of me that has always been given to the we. My why has become about I. Because the we was even the channel of me, the other parts of me, the spirit who communicates through me. Everybody in my life, I would include in everything. Share it all. And so I've never really known me. So who was I supporting? And what was I supporting? It was the parts of me that have overshadowed my truth. The parts that have shadowed over who I really am. But she's like a dinosaur. She's 50, man. She's been here forever. And she's yet learned how to freaking walk. Like there's parts of her, like she's come out a little bit, but she hasn't even learned how to freaking walk. Like it's crazy. She's a dinosaur. She is now like ancient. She's lived 50 years. So having lived 50 years of my life, I'm now making that decision to support my truths and to support my what my body feels and is saying, this is nagging at you. Does this feel right to you? Do you feel safe? Do you feel like you're being supported? And what are you supporting in this moment? What cause are you supporting? Are you supporting that rebel again? Are you supporting what are you supporting? Because the more you support that, the more that you diminish the worth of your truth. And your truth is so deeply hidden that if you keep diminishing it, why would it want to shine? Why would your truth want to come out? Why would who you really are want to more than exist? When not even all of who you have been representing yourself as has been saying to you the whole time, and I'm talking to myself here, this is how I would speak to myself about all of this, hiding you. When did she become not enough? Where was she not supported? And then I realized that over the years that a lot of the places where I was didn't really understand support. And why? Because we're conditioned. And because we're conditioned, we are unaware. And because those who condition us give us every thought in our head, we believe our thoughts to be our truth. We believe them to be our reality. But from that thought process, you can't ever come into a solution because you're living in the problem. You're living in the fear. Truth is deeper. Truth is bigger. And there goes my fire truck again. Footnote the fires here. Footnote the fires, the burning desire in my heart. And so this quote came up to me, and I wrote this in my sketching book. You cannot solve a problem from the level of consciousness that created it. Albert Einstein. I've come to understand that there's a brilliant, young, youthful, funny self inside of there. But she was weird. And I have not been supporting her. I have been supporting, I've been supporting everything that I think I should be some days. And still thriving, still doing well in life, man. Don't get me wrong. Who you see is still Corrie, but the Corrie that I know I am at the core, that lives my personal life, my personal journey, who shows up to just be her and to be content with her. I have eaten her away. I have hidden her away. I have drank her away at some times. I've pushed her so far down. And I always joke that she comes out, that part of me comes out when you give her a Jägermeister. Give her just give her just one shot of Jägermeister. And you see something show up. And you're like, who is she? And she is fun as could be. Only need one. It's amazing. And there's something in that, in those well preserved minerals, those well fermented minerals that was created by the monks, I think it is, that just one shot. It's because I let go. And I start supporting something that I'm never supporting: the fun, the happy, the love, the joy. The fact that when I can be in a safe environment and a safe place, I can let it go. She is real. I keep saying she does not exist, that I'm not that kind of easygoing, fun person. But yeah, I was. Really, really what she's really in there. And she probably was oblivious to a lot of things in life. And she was carefree. She was everything that probably a lot of people around me would have liked to have been able to be. But because of conditioning, because of fears, they couldn't be. Today, and each and every day, I am supporting, this is my new journey. I am supporting the journey of what does she need today? What do I need today? What parts of that am I supporting? How am I going to bring that to life? How do I start to create that? And that's what you have to start to look at. This is not all about the success of something, supporting your biggest dream and becoming this big empire. I just want to let go and have fucking fun. And I mean fun with my work, fun with life. I don't want to be sad and depressed. And I don't want my work to be sad and depressed. Do you think our loved ones on the other side are over there sitting in the corner crying? No, they're living a dream. The ghost that we are afraid of facing is us. We have such fear of the full version of us to be seen that we don't support it at all. We support anything but. So finding our way into who we are, who we become, who do we want to be, all of those things as you start to move forward today. And this is all coming from just being Corrie, is that I'm going to really take a good hard look at your life today. And what version of you are you supporting? Where do you need support? And what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Where do if you look at your life and you look at, where do I just let go and have fun? Where am I just as, and some are just And so humor, unhealthy humor, is that humor that makes fun, criticizes everybody, judges everybody. That's not humor. That's called trauma response. I don't know if you know that or not, what it is. That's trauma response. That is not, that's not fun. That's not funny. Even if you were conditioned to it, it's making fun of somebody. It's not bringing you joy and happiness. It's hiding and masking everything that you don't want the world to see. hmm It usually hides our greatest depressions. It hides our greatest things that we are suppressing within ourselves. We use humor for what we cannot deal with, what we cannot face. The same thing we do with the shadow self. And I don't mean humor like aha laugh humor. I mean that sense of you take focus off of you and put it on somebody else. And when you take focus off of you and you put it on somebody else, then you are distracting yourself from what you really need to do. And that's not support. So where today can you start to be what you really need today? And that's to feel safe, to feel that sense of love within, to fall into love, to fall into that beautiful journey of discovery, learning to discover you. When you learn to discover you, everything changes. And I hope in some way that this helps you today. Hope this serves you today. And I want to thank you for joining me once again. Thank you for being here with me. And just know that through our truths, there's such a beautiful light. And I have such a love for my family and for where we've all been. But these truths are real. And as you find your way through them, you start to realize that in ownership and responsibility, you have to own it. When you own it, you can claim what is yours, you can give away what is not yours, and you can deal with what needs to be dealt with, resolving what needs to be resolved. And you can start to be your best cheerleader, your biggest support, and your own guru. Thank you for being here. Much, much love, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye.